God bless you. I'm Bishop George Bloomer, and I want to tell you about a movie that I saw that brought tears to my eyes because it's my story. We've come to a time and a place in the church where people don't believe like they used to. And so the Lord has blessed me to be on the set of this powerful, powerful movie that you can bring the entire family to. And we can deal with all of the issues that are going on in our country right now. This is a prophetic piece of work.
You ready?
Hey, are you okay?
I believe in you, sir.
You believe in me, Charlie?
That's incredible strength and faith for a young man. I just hope that same strength helps him accept things if they don't happen the way that he wants.
It's my dude right here.
What do you believe, Matthew Payton?
I'm here with members of the cast. The director, Billy Dixon, Shawnee Smith,
Very good. Very good.
Ryan O'Quinn, and the troublemaker, Kevin Sizemore.
On and off the screen, by the way.
Did I get the names right?
You did.
You did
Because-
great.
Very
job,
well
because
done.
my viewers know that I will butcher up a name.
Hey,
That
hey,
was
hey,
good.
there's a first time for everything.
How come I wasn't the troublemaker?
Smith is really hard, by the way, but you nailed it. You nailed it.
It's not a common name.
Tell us about the, how did you come to this movie on Believe?
You had to ask me first, right? Okay. The movie was incepted about 20 years ago. My sister was dying of cancer, and one of the things that she instilled in me at the time was embrace each day as if it were your last. And after she passed, I thought, I want to write a tribute to her and her story. And I sat down writing about a little boy and a man who struggled, and their whole belief that you can believe in things that'll come true. If you believe in God and you believe in Christ, that anything can happen. And that was her belief, that she was going to get better. And we always felt that her energy sort of propelled us forward in our lives of believing that things were going to be great in the end. And there's a reason for everything.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So it was because of her that this movie, was incepted. So
The movie is released at a time where it's really, really prophetic.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost where we are in this country right now. And the way that America goes, so goes the world.
Right.
And so it touches on so many of the issues and different things that happen. Like I said, it's truly, truly my story. People are fearful. It's hard times. We're dealing with racism. We're dealing with classism. We're dealing with entitlements. All these different types of things in the movie sort of kind of speaks to that and talks to that. So that's why I asked you why now.
yeah, I think God has its own timing. And I think that's why this movie came about. That's why I met Ryan O'Quinn, and him and I started a partnership to nurture this project and move forward and seeing if we can get it made, because we have the like-mindedness of what the world is going through at this point. I think it spoke to him at the right time. It was the right time for me to be in my career and have the opportunity to make this movie.
Wow. The scripture says that now faith is the substance of things hoped for, evidence of things not seen. The scripture says that faith cometh by hearing, and by hearing, and by hearing, and by hearing. And I believe that the new evangelistical field is in the theaters, and Satan, the enemy, has used that well. And so the Lord has given us a great opportunity to minister to the world people who might not darken the doorsteps of the church, cross and steeple, but will get this message. And so I thought that was
Yeah, I
a
believe
great
10
way.
years ago this wouldn't have happened. I think the way the church and the Christian community has embraced filmmaking over the last 10 years has really propelled us into a different.
Well, you know, the church is always late.
Yeah. And I'm always late for church, so.
And just as an FYI, you mentioned scripture, but when Billy first sent the script to me, a little behind the scenes knowledge for your viewers, but the title of the script was Evidence of Things Unseen.
Wow.
Believe was never on.
I'm pretty prophetic here.
You may be the one that's prophetic. These words that this word here that you see, believe, was not on an iteration of the script until pretty much when we started filming. It was always called Evidence of Things Unseen. That was the script that I read.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think it truly does. Billy said it best, but I think right now it's timely. I mean, the themes of this movie are extremely timely. When we were in the midst of shooting this 8 or 9 months ago, and we're even in a bit of a turmoil in this country prior to the election, of course. You know, race relations in this country being what they were, we were all in a state of unrest, to say the least. And so the themes, I think, in this film, as we were shooting, we were amazed, and we should never be amazed at how God orchestrates, you know, the ultimate puppet master. He's going to do what he's going to do, and we can read the end of the book. He wins.
Yeah.
So we can rest assured in that. But we were, as filmmakers, were pleasantly surprised at how the themes of this movie are tying into what we're going through in the world today. There's themes of haves versus have-nots. There's themes of black and white. There's themes of union versus non-union. There's so many themes that are tied to this. And on the other side of the election now, I think there's still a bit of, maybe perhaps even an understatement to say there's a bit of unrest in the sense that we're not sure what happens next. Where do we go from here? And you and I shared before we started taping that, you know what, at the end of the day, God is still on the throne.
Yeah.
It's not his fault, you know, the pageant and everything.
So what you're saying, Mr. Payton, is that your company can no longer afford to put on the Christmas pageant?
My guys already took a pay cut this year, and as their union rep, I'm not gonna ask them to take another one.
That's not true, is it? What people are saying?
As of last Wednesday, the doors to Payton Industries were closed.
Well, so many of our friends and families have been put out of work. I think you may have had the funds to keep this thing going, and they've been misappropriated.
When you tell this town, I would hate to see what happens next.
Doesn't taste, Mr. Big Shot.
Hey! Are you okay?
A little boy found me. His mother took care of me.
My name is Matthew Payton.
Peyton? Like the Christmas pageant, Peyton? This year, I'm gonna be the big guy. All things are possible to those who believe.
I think you have a new friend.
My new friend thinks if he believes hard enough, he's going to be in the pageant.
Have you told little Gabriel yet? When you don't have anything in life, faith becomes your most valued possession.
These folks needed a place to stay warm last night and get out of the cold, so I gave it to them.
I understand what you're trying to do here, son, but the law just won't allow this to go on.
I have lived and worked my entire life for myself. I didn't want any of this to happen. As far as the festival goes, I believe that is possible with the help of this community.
Remember, sometimes things happen for a reason. What do you believe, Matthew Payton?
I need you to listen to me, to meet me in a theater, in a city, somewhere, and you must do it. And shame on you if you don't, because we are called to the great harvest, and it's happening in theaters around the world. I really, really, really believe that.
That's right.
This is it's amazing to me, the opportunity that the Lord has given us to be able to say his name and share his message on in theaters on a platform this large, and that's why I keep on going back to that, how important it is for believers to save the date, December the 2nd, and to have yourself in a theater with a friend to challenge them on, do you really know him, or do you know him because you're not that? It's a great
And 'tis the season, you know? It's like, that's the time to go. It's easier to go in and see a nice, soft
Family.
family film about hope. And, you know, it's like the season, so you can kind of like take that momentum and bring your friends, and it's like it makes it a little easier, you know, to just kind of.
Where can you take the whole family to today? I'm talking about in
Not
terms of
very
movies.
Right.
Not
You
very
know,
many.
Not very many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is one of those movies that you can, you know, you can take the whole family. Somebody asked me recently in an interview, why did you want to do this? Why did you want to do this particular movie? And I
So my children could actually see a movie that
exactly. In this day and age, Kevin and I were talking about this, but this day and age, with the indelible nature of all things internet, your kids will see everything you ever do, and their kids and their kids and their kids. Shawnee, you're funny. But
we serve a
they will
God who
see.
blots out your stuff and throws it in the sea of forgetfulness. So just make sure that they don't get to the internet.
Exactly, exactly. But I wanted to do a project where I could sit down with my 5-year-old son on one side of me and my 91-year-old grandmother on the other side of me, and not have to disclaim anything away, not have to cover their eyes, not have to fast forward, not have to take time when the lights come up to sit down and go, okay, let's walk through this. Let me explain to you why Daddy had to say and do these things. Didn't want to do that. I wanted the discourse afterwards to be, let's talk about this. Let's talk about what it really means to have hope. And by the way, if I may plug the website just for a minute, if there are church groups that are interested in taking groups of people, you can go to www.believe.film/resources, and there are church discussion guides and Bible study guides that will walk through some of the themes in this movie. So before and or afterwards, you and a Bible study group or a church group can sit down and talk through exactly these themes that Billy wrote 20 years ago that are so timely right now.
I want to show you a scene from the movie, and I want to come and talk back to you a little bit about it. I know this is really, really going to bless you. Remember, in life, you are always sowing the harvest you're going to get.
Let me tell you something. When that mine shut down and his father left, he left us right here. I had to quit nursing school. Lost the only job I could get. Things, they got worse and worse and worse, and they got worse because people like you forgot about people like us. And now I strive to help these people because these people need me, and they don't have any money, and they don't have any jobs, and they can't afford to pay me, so they do what they can. Mr. Payton, you should probably have that looked at by a real doctor when you get to wherever it is that you're going. Keep it.
Here.
No. You're gonna need it. It'll keep you warm. Inside.
So, are you gonna come back and visit us?
So what was it like working with Danielle?
Oh, well, the scene speaks for itself, but she is an incredible actress who expertly tackled this role. We had a great opportunity to spend some time together before and after each of the scenes, and she was incredible to work with. In fact, she's such a great actress. She's on another series right now, which is why she's not on the couch at the moment. She's off on working on another show, but she was great. She was fantastic. We talked with Billy. There were several pivotal moments throughout the movie. There's another scene that's one of my favorites where it's a hospital scene. At risk of giving anything away, it's a really pivotal moment in a hospital room, and she and Billy and I sat down together before that and really walked through the beats of the scene, and she was great. So So.
Well, it was just like when she came in for the audition, Billy knew that's kind of where he wanted to go when her name was brought up. And I think it was literally the first 4 words out of her mouth, we all just kind of did.
Right.
In fact, that was the same scene we just showed.
Exactly. That was the audition
Her
scene.
audition.
So that was an audition scene.
Yeah. When she came in to read for her character, that's the scene she did. And I remember, when she just goes, shh, 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 shh. She was the only person that did that because everyone else was like, shh, 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 no, 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 no. But she just came in with a little, shh, 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 it's okay.
Yeah.
And that's when I just go, checkmate.
Yeah. In church, it's called a holy hush.
The holy hush.
I'm going to write that down.
It's a holy hush.
I'm going to steal that.
It's not mine. It's one of those old church mothers with the hat. Danielle is not with us this afternoon because she's been blessed to work on another project. I mean, when you're real good, you get more parts. But we had an opportunity to talk to her earlier, and I want you to take a look at this.
There's one scene in particular that just struck me to my core that I got the pleasure to audition with, and it's this scene where Sharon really kind of goes in on Matthew about getting his priorities straight and what matters in life. And she does it in a way that isn't aggressive, and it's direct, but there's no anger there. There's just a real sort of realness to it. And I had a grandmother who passed away when I was 18, who's my favorite person in the world, and still, I swear, is my guardian angel. And when I read this character, all I thought about was Estelle Marie Johnson. And that's how she came to us with everything. And you would have no idea that you were having your ship righted by her whenever she would talk to you. You just knew by the end of that conversation that you better start acting right and being the best person that you could possibly be, because no less would be accepted. And when I read that scene, it made me think of her. And so I thought, let me just go in here and do the best that I can in this room, and hopefully they like me.
We as actors, and I'm speaking for all of us here, but actors and filmmakers, if we can do projects that move people a little bit closer to being a better person. I talked to a writer a week or so ago, and he said, imagine, I asked him, he's notorious for writing great family and faith content, and I said, how do you write what you write? And I shared this with some of our crew here, and I think that's what we're all trying to do. He said, imagine on a continuum, you've got a +10, which is a Mother Teresa, and you've got a -10 that is the Dawkins and the Hitchens and the hardcore atheists. All of us probably fit somewhere within that spectrum. He said, I work on films and I work on movies that if you are a -4, I want to move you toward a -2. If you are a 3, I want to write a project that moves you to a 6 or a 7. So even a project like this, projects that we can all work on and be a part of, even if there's no hardcore, strong arm twist of where somebody comes to meet Jesus by the end of that movie, if we have done a project where at the end of the day they're closer to being more like Christ, I think we've done our job as filmmakers.
Did Danielle say all that in the interview?
Well,
'Cause I'm impressed.
I paraphrased that for her. That's what she meant.
Favorite scenes. I'm sure everyone here has a favorite scene, maybe that you were in or you were admiring one of your co-stars in it. Favorite scenes.
All of them. I can't.
You're not
I can't
biased.
That's
pick
the
just one.
director.
I've seen the movie too many times. I guess it'd be the one where my daughter.
Oh, that's right.
says,
Aw.
What does she say? Oh, he needs some rest. She plays nurse number 2.
Oh, okay.
She needs some rest, or he needs some rest.
And they say nepotism is dead.
That's my favorite scene.
course it
Fatherly
is.
love. Aw, gosh. Isn't that
I
nice?
have a lot of favorite scenes, but probably my favorite scene is with Shawnee, and it's a scene where she says,
It's just because I'm sitting next to him.
yeah, I have to say that. If
He's not as dumb as he looks.
If they
I
had
promise.
arranged this and I were
Yeah,
sitting
right.
next to Kevin, it would be my scene with Albert.
Because I wasn't
I'm
in a
sure.
scene with him yet.
But you see it all through the trailer. We've used it in the teaser and then again in the official trailer for the movie. But it is the refrain, in my opinion, that carries throughout the movie. And her character looks at me and says,
I see the future of all the people who worked for me.
I see all the people you're helping right now. Have you told little Gabriel yet?
He still believes.
What do you believe, Matthew Payton?
what do you believe, Matthew Payton? There's a plot line, a subplot line within the movie where there is an inheritance at stake. And so Matthew reveals to Nancy what that inheritance actually is. But the real question behind that is, what do you believe?
And, you know, coming back to one of my favorite scenes of the movie is when you take Isaac or CJ up to the park and you stand out, he stands outside and leans against the car or the truck, which was beautifully shot. As soon as I saw it, it's a reflection of Matthew's character in the mirror, and CJ just up there dancing. And he says, "Where'd you learn how to dance like that?" And he's just having fun. He's being a kid. He's just living his life being a kid. He's got a dream that he believes is going to come true. He wants to go to this Christmas pageant.
It's like hope comes naturally to the child, but then you look at the adults.
Right.
It's like it takes a lot of courage after whatever your life has been to hope.
Yeah,
it's like a choice.
Almost being when you become an adult, you have to force yourself to forget your dreams.
Right.
Because for me, imagination and dreaming is your spirit goes to where it's already done, and then it comes back to where you are right now, and you just hold on to what you've seen and what you know. So he's in this situation where it's cold in the building, there's no gas, the lights come on when they get ready and goes off. Everybody's got to run down to use someone else's cell phone, who's going to pay for the bill. All this kind of stuff is going on. I don't want to give too much of the movie away, but the young boy is not moved by any of that.
Right.
That environment does not pull him in.
You know, Isaac, he treats everyone the same. Old man, kid, male, female, black, white, Asian, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He's just a kid that loves life. And
He's surrounded by people sacrificing for each other too, and helping. It's like the difference of living for yourself versus living for the sake of someone else.
And I want to call the nation to a belief challenge. We get challenged on everything. I want to call the nation to a belief challenge. Is the reason why I'm doing this, for you to get back to believing in God and believing in yourself and believing in others and believing in community. That's a challenge. Wouldn't that be wonderful if the challenge was to take off like that?
Absolutely, yeah.
what a blessing it is for all of us to be able to be a part of a movie that's going to be shown for the rest of our lives. We're associated with something for the rest of our life that's doing good in this world. And right now, God knows we need it.
Yes.
Right now, we need to come together.
Yes.
And what better way to come together is to get the family and friends and say, you know what? Let's take an hour and a half, 2 hours out of our life, and let's just fall into this world of Matthew Payton and this kid CJ. Let's see what happens. And I guarantee you'll come out a better person. You know, it brings me back to Isaac. And I remember when he came into the audition, it was really cool because he came in and he had just this bundle of energy, and it was great. And he said, you know, my mama gave me the script.
But you don't come across a lot of roles like Believe, where the kid is more positive wise. So when I got the script, I was like, the script is amazing. And so when I went in the room, I was just like, Lord, I'm asking that I get this job. And I went in there and I portrayed the character like I think he should be portrayed.
So you actually prayed before you went in?
Yeah.
Wow.
I prayed before every audition. And I asked God, if this is meant for me, you know, hey, I'm not turning down no jobs if it's meant for me. But I mean, so I always feel like if you always ask for it before you go in that room, then you already have that favor going in with it. So when I went in that room and everyone was just so welcoming and warming, I was like, oh, Jesus, be there. And so when I was auditioning for it with Ryan, I was like, okay, and I got into the mode and I started almost crying, and then I left out and I got the call a few days later. Isaac, they want you for Believe. You want it, yes or no? I was like, yes, I want it. And I was like, this is the only movie that I've seen yet that has to do with anything spiritual, anything relatively nice in the acting world. So I was like, you know what, Lord, thank you. And we got to Bristol, it was just a dream come true.
And we all, in our mind, said, I hope that you are as good of an actor as you are as a
Can you walk and
personality
chew gum at the same time?
and a believer, and
Yeah.
and just the zeal that he has for the Lord was evident at 9 years old.
9 years
and
old.
he nailed it.
And you know, when you see the movie Believe, you're not just seeing the actors and the director and the writer, and I mean, you're seeing everyone that worked really hard to make this movie come to fruition. And thank you, by the way, dude.
Well, thank
Yeah,
you too.
thank
for doing what
you
you're doing.
Thank you too.
Very much.
No one called me dude for a long, long time.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
anyway, I'm dude again. In theaters December. In theaters December the 2nd. Now listen to me. I don't just want you to meet me there. I want you to beat me there. Listen, belief is coming your way. You remember I told you that the problem that I was having with you was Billy, was that it's my story. I had a tremendous imagination. As a 9 years old, in my book, The Little Boy in Me, there's a story called 9 and CEO. And I was coming out of the projects. I lived in the projects on the 6th floor, 453 Columbia Street, apartment A, B, and C. Coming down the steps, the elevator didn't work. The place smells like urination and defecation. And I'm coming out of the building, and I turn the corner, and down the trash ramp was a desk. And I can't tell you today how I pulled that desk out of the trash pile, brought it up to the apartment, and set it in my room, and it had 3 legs on it. And not long after that, someone had thrown away an office chair, but it only had 3 legs on it. And I dragged that upstairs, and not long after that, I was going through the trash, and there I found a briefcase, the old attaché case with the snaps on it, and the snaps didn't work. And I took that case, wrapped a rope around it, and those 3 pieces set me up in my imaginary corporation to be the CEO at 9 of my imaginary corporation. And I believe then I saw now, and that's what kept me through drugs and illiteracy and all those things. And so I'm calling on the little boy or the little girl that's on the inside of you that used to dream, imagine, hope, and against all hope, you continue to hope. And against all failure, you begin to see yourself at your best, finishing on top, finishing great. That's what I hope that this movie will do. I know this movie is going to do it. And I'm calling on all the little boys and little girls on the inside of you adults that have taken your dreams and your hopes and your aspirations and your visions and tossed it out. I'm calling you back to the trash can to get your 3-legged desk, because there's a CEO of your greatest dreams and visions on the inside of you. And I believe the time capsule is now. It's gonna burst, it's gonna come out, and great things are gonna happen. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for spending this time with me.
you so much.
Thank you so much. Call me, I'll be there.
Amen.
Thank you, dude.
Dude!